Welcome to another chapter of buffoonery on these Bigo streets. Alright, so it looks like Natureboy's ex-followers of Carbon Nation are speaking out. They're giving exclusive details about what's going on inside those four walls, as well as why they left. Fraud is being put into play here as PPP loans are reiterated. Yes, apparently Natureboy has had a PPP loan or two in regards to the cult. Yes, one of the members said that Natureboy and the organization came up with PPP loans and assorted values. Yes, guys, get into it. It's more details, including the women fighting. When Natureboy, apparently, whenever Natureboy gets upset with one of the women, he'll have another woman discipline the female, and which she would have to take it, or she would get jumped by the whole female group. So this is how he absolves himself of the actual legalities of putting his hands on a woman. But, you know, if you do order somebody to hit another person and they comply, both parties are responsible, I believe. But anyways, guys, get into this mess and I'll see you later. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your girl is new. Please subscribe, and I'll see you later.
Armed out with a cell phone. Boom, she left. Couldn't find her for like a day, whatever. She came back. They had this whole thing set up before they came. They had everybody go to the back room, put the beds up against the walls, cover up the windows, put everything in the closet, and just make this like arena. What the hell are we doing? Nobody even knew, but the people who was giving the orders knew what was going on. And so he like circle up around. We don't know who about to get what's about to go down. We just like.
Wait a minute. Repeat what you just said. Circle. What is circle? Can you explain to us what the circle is?
All right, so we in one room, right, in the Airbnb, and everybody in there. All the men are like against the wall, like guarding the walls, the windows. They got the beds.
This is in LA. This is in LA, correct?
They had us put the beds up against the windows and the walls and shit, and then all the men got around the bed, and then the women came in between us. So it was like rows of people,
a double circle.
Standing,
okay.
Come in and Civil and what's the other girl named Zoka? They all come. They hyped up.
Well, Sybil was with you guys at this time. Sybil, who wrote the book, was there present. Okay.
Yeah. Only person that wasn't there at this time was like Nateri. She had left. Everybody else, Mente, all them was all there. Boomie wasn't there yet.
But Boomie wasn't there yet. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, you was there when she got slapped. So Velvet come in. He had Velvet slap the shit. And she couldn't fight back. If she fought back, she would get jumped by all the women. So that was the
Velvet slapped the shit out of who? You're talking kind of fast. Velvet slapped the shit out. Oh, Velvet slapped the shit out of Melina because he told her to.
Nothing back. She had to stand there and let her slap the shit out of her. Like, and if she fought back, they was gonna jump her. So she just had to eat that shit. And then he grabbed her by her hair. It was she was trying to run away, screaming. This is like, as a man, I'm like, nigga, this shit ain't no spiritual reality in none of this. So so that was like the biggest red flag at that time for me. Was like, man, it was like, damn. Then a couple like a week later. That's when 4th of July happened. That's when him and Velvet got into it. Same shit. We was at the park. I don't know what happened. But all I know is, nigga, we had the circle up. They got in the circle. And, nigga, they was scrapping. Just the two of them was going at it. And we just had to watch. Nobody could move. Niggas tried to, some niggas tried to say, get in there. Some of the guys did. And they was like, nah, fall back in line. And niggas, no, they ranking. You got to fall back in line. So everybody just go back in line. Most of the people was already numb to it because they always fighting and shit. It was the new people like me really numb to it because we ain't seen that shit. So we was like, but they was like, nigga, if you got a problem, say something. It was like, nigga, like, this your shit. Nigga, like, do you run your shit? This your I'm not about to sit here and argue with you, nigga, about your shit. If this how you want to run it, nigga, run it then. Fuck it.
Right.
Say that again?
Wow. He ran it like a gang. He ran it like a gang.
You violated
right. They were DPing people. So they were DPing people.
Yeah.
That's a violation, bro. That's how that works.
Wow. Okay.
I'm not saying like with none of I was totally against that shit. I just, you know what I'm saying? It's like what they always do this shit. I'm like, they always do this shit. I'm like, why are we gonna get into something when they gonna be back together in the next 24 hours? Nigga, they ain't even separate. They end up staying all night, kicking it hugged up later in the park, way down there from all of us. And we all eating Chinese food in the park, sitting there chilling till 5 o'clock in the morning, damn near.
Okay, and that was in the book as well. Okay, Boomie, do you want to add anything to that, my love? Did you see any major things that happened in LA while you guys were at the Airbnb that you want to speak about?
Yeah, I mean, the two experiences that you just shared just there, that was like, I had literally just got there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I got there
Wow.
like the first or something. So in between the first and July 4th, both of these incidents took place. And at that point, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was already like, damn, like, what the fuck did I just get myself into? Like, is this real? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it had like this, you in the middle of a reality TV show vibe.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I definitely understand.
Yeah, so those two experiences happened. Oh yeah, and I remember like they were trying to get us to like gang up on Tron. Like Tron was still there.
Before Tron left.
Boomie to beat up
Wow.
Tron. They was trying to get me and Boomie to bully up Tron, beat him up, and I'm not with that bullying shit.
Because when we first got here, because that's around the time where they was like putting the nigga Tron in the closet or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's when we got to see all the closet shit. That's what I forgot about.
Right.
Wow.
It was crazy. It was wild hearing that nigga put the women in the closet.
And I forget what happened. Like Shaka said, we was drinking wine that night, and like, to be honest, I don't even really feel like Tron did nothing like too crazy out of character for real. Like, Nature Boy just be real sensitive. Just any hair seeming like it's not following exactly what he's telling you to do type of deal. And shit just turned up quick, like on like Tron. Like the nigga Tron was like doing something weird to like encourage something to be off or some type of deal. Like, it was weird. Like, they had made the nigga stand in the corner, and that's when Tron started, like, you know, getting to the point where he was ready to leave, though. Like, Tron was really getting ready to leave around that time. Because he was starting to just had enough.
Okay. So moving along.
And then we dropped airport.
We can't hear you. I can't hear you. Say that again.
I was saying that me and True had dropped Sybil off at the airport.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you guys dropped Sybil off at the airport. Okay.
Yeah.
I already know, Jenny. I already know, baby. You don't have to fly anything across the screen. Believe me, I'm very well versed in this. And let me make a correction. Sybil was not a wife. She wanted to be a wife, and she was being groomed to be a wife. So let me make that correction. Thank you, Mrs. Queen Azeen. I apologize. Okay, so this is what I do want to get into. So I see that there was a lot of not only anger, not only frustration, but there was a lot of hostility. There was a lot of violence going on in LA. When did you guys him and see his energy switch from, oh, I just want to live, off of nature? Did it sound like it started to switch in LA, or did it switch before then?
Nah, it definitely switched in LA. I think when towards the end of that month, it was getting wild because we had so much money. It was like niggas was on the brink of nothing, and in the brink of 30 days, niggas
all of a sudden,
you know what I'm saying?
Niggas
had money,
went from rags
to riches overnight, and then it was like,
right. Well, shit, everybody in California went from rags to riches overnight. Right.
But not as many times as this nigga has with 300,000, 250,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, that nigga does that shit. He get those people.
So let's get into that.
Hey, hold on. Real quick though. Like, somebody said something about like why did we worship him, right?
No. We're not gonna get into that right now. Wait. Back up. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
It's something that is sparked that I gotta address about the time frame in LA when we got there. What a lot of people don't realize is the whole time frame that I was there, he was real adamant about not being online. He took a hiatus from being online for a long period of time,
Oh, that
right?
is true.
So that's why a lot of people don't even really remember me being there, because literally after he got kicked out of Hawaii, he
We
was
told
like
him to go
super
off the grid.
paranoid. He was like super paranoid after he got kicked out of Hawaii to the point where he was considering not even going live no more.
Wow.
So that's why
Now, why
when
is that?
Terry, Azeen, and them came out live in Atlanta, that was the very first time they heard about anything that was going on, because it was all hush hush,
Right.
because we kept him on silent off the internet while we were in Atlanta. I mean, in LA and in Vegas.
So
We told him, nigga, we gonna be protected. We
Boomie,
gotta
can you
be
fix your mic, baby?
no internet.
Can you fix your mic? That
yeah,
makes a lot of sense. I remember when
so
they took that
basically
hiatus.
the point that I'm making is because it was a time frame where we wasn't really on camera like that, a lot of that shit that y'all see on camera just wasn't present at all. Like he was acting more regular than y'all used to see him act, because he wasn't even on the time of like being on the camera. Like mind you, he still got his issues, his mama daddy issues, and how he dealing with people and shit like that, and how he snapping on the women and shit like that. But a whole lot of the how he was demanding niggas to be doing certain shit, like how you be displaying online, like a lot of that shit wasn't even happening. Like he was going to his room and staying to himself, and niggas was kind of doing their own thing. Like
Wow. That's deep. Okay, so once you guys all left, else proceed to after that as a tribe, and who all left? Who all left at that point, and then went to the next house? I know Natiri left. You guys said Sybil left. Who else left? Did Tron leave that time as well? Kite left. Okay. Who else? Who? We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Shaka. Shaka,
I
baby, we can't hear you.
feel like people in the house after Terry, Kite, Civil, and I think that was it. When that was that time. Then everybody went to Vegas on the flight except me. I drove in the car. I drove to Vegas with the.
And that's when they all. Okay, and then they jumped up and got married, right?
That was a little down the line. Well, we got to get to Vegas first.
Okay. Wait. Let's get to Vegas. Okay, so before Vegas, you guys said y'all was balling out of control. So was that when is that when the PPP loans kicked in?
Huh?
Is that when the PPP loans kicked in?
It wasn't just PPP loans. A lot of things that kicked in.
It was unemployment. Yeah. Oh, believe me, I'm from California. I know about all the scams that was going on in California, from the rooter to the tutor.
Yeah, so definitely we tapped into
Let me say this. Let me say this. When Black Velvet came up here and said, "Did you teach him how to do the PPP loans?" Baby, he didn't have to, because everybody and their mama and daddy was doing the PPP loans.
That was the
everybody and their mama and daddy. You had people on the corner who would stand outside the county building and ask you, "Do you want me to do you a PPP? Do you want me to do you do you do your unemployment? I'll need half of it, but give me your information and I can do it." Believe me. The game was thick as thieves in California. It don't make it right. It don't make it right, but it happened. People who had never had money before in California, these motherfuckers pulling up on brand new cars, brand new everything. They didn't go buy them a house or open a business. These motherfuckers was buying jewelry and all kind of stupid shit, but we don't want to get it. Let me not get sidetracked. But back to what I was saying. The point was everybody in California and Nevada and Vegas, because Vegas is in Nevada, they were doing the PPP and unemployment. Okay. So, yeah, they were hood rich. Everybody, so it wasn't just carbonation. Everybody was doing it. Everybody who could get away with it, and Nevada was the last to get their money. Okay, so let's clear it up. So if he didn't show him the game, somebody was gonna show him the game to get that bread. Okay, because LA is like that. LA is like that, baby. Okay, so moving right along.
Nobody had money in that house, and everybody found a way. I'm just saying that everybody found a way. Y'all know the story. Y'all everything we did to get that bread.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so you get a free flight out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so moving right along. Okay, so you guys got the money. You guys took your first flight to Vegas, right? And the remaining members went to Vegas. Okay. Daniel, do you want to interject anything before we get to Vegas? Get to what goes on in Vegas stays in Vegas. I didn't mute you, baby. You can unmute yourself, honey. I didn't mute you, love.
Well, I didn't know you were talking to me.
Okay.
I've been listening.
I
I've
said,
been
do you have
listening to
anything that? Okay. So let's. Okay, you're good. Okay, so let's get to Vegas. So we in Vegas now. Where we
One
staying
last
at? Where we
thing.
Hold
staying
on,
at in Vegas?
Boomie, go ahead.
One last thing. When I got there, right? Remember I was telling you, me and my wife was going through a rocky time in our relationship. But literally the first day that I got there, he pulled me back to the room, like this is me and him, and he hollered at me. He was like, "Dang, like you, like what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Like you going through something, like." And he knew about me and her relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because
you and your
when I
wife.
first came, yes, because when I first was about to come, he thought we were all coming. I let him know it's just me, so he knew about our union. You know what I'm saying? So I was just letting him know, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, like what we going through. It's still kind of weighing heavy on my heart right now. And then there, he was like, call her up. He like, she should come. And in my mind, I'm like, she just left. Like we just got into it. Like, and I'm at carbonation. Like that's a waste of a call. Like what you talking about? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but to my
Fact. Fact.
surprise, he called her. She answered, and he showed that I was there because I didn't even tell her that I was going. Like I said, I was on some like we split, and I just went and just on some bucket type shit. So when he revealed that to her that I was there and encouraged her to come, even to my surprise, she said okay. So we booked a flight for her to meet us in Vegas. So my wife and my son end up coming as well.
Wow. Okay. That
Hey,
that
book
okay.
flights for his baby mama, cause he had it set up where we was booking flights for his baby mama to sit next to Velvet, and he was gonna get them back together, and it was about to be him,
What?
the other baby mama, Velvet. We was buying tickets for a whole lot of people. We was spending money.
Wow.
Look, we booked
Yeah,
the
plan.
Puerto Rico shit before we went to Vegas. We had booked 2 big ass Airbnbs in Puerto Rico. The nigga was spending hella money flying hella people in and out at that time as well. So it was more people coming. So when we got to Vegas, Kite came back. A
Mhm.
lot of other people came back. Who? Oh, that's when Honor came. Kite came. Who else came at that time?
My wife is sorry.
Boomie's wife at that time. Yeah, and their
Mhm.
kids. I think that was,
What is that
so
noise?
it's a house now. We in another big old house in Vegas. Little 2-story house in Vegas, like 4
Mhm.
bedrooms.
Cheap. Mhm.
And it's all of us. It's like 20 of us at that time. 25, 24, 25 of us at that time. So like I said, we had bread, so it didn't matter how many of us it was. We had the space, and nigga, it was a lot going on, and that's when shit started really turning up. Like really got out of hand with him because nigga, we was drinking. Oh, we was big drinking, then big
And this
smoking.
was in
Me
Vegas.
and Musa
This is in
to the
Vegas.
to the weed dispensaries. We was going to the goddamn liquor stores, and that's what it was, the liquor and the weed that really had everybody on tilt at all times because it was nonstop.
Mhm. Okay. So then, okay.
I,
So once,
my battery
I
died.
guess Boomie, his battery probably died. I think it was dying. Okay, he can come back at any time. So once, let me see. I think this is him. Okay, let me let him up.
One quick thing, Miss Cherry. I'm sure you brothers were actually saying, just to be clear, you were saying that all the things that you bought were obtained by legal assets, and everything that you were saying before was just, an alleged if you were involved with it. I'm sure you were saying that that was all alleged and everything you bought was with legally taxable tender, correct? You were saying that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm making sure we're on the same page.
No, no, no.
Not in LA. Not in LA. Because the thing that I brought some money.
Yeah, Boomie gave him like all the money we
They
had.
didn't really started receiving the money that they was applying for until like we was down there about to leave LA and we got to
Yeah,
Vegas. Really.
like
Now, what I'm
into
saying,
LA.
I'm just making sure that you are stating very clearly that everything you did was
Yes,
100% legal and all your assets
absolutely.
were legally obtained. I'm just making sure you're saying that specifically. Cool?
Yes.
All right,
Boomie, Get,
cool.
get it?
Get
I
it,
wanna make sure
Daniel. Get it.
that's what I heard. I want to make sure everybody else heard the same damn thing that I heard. That you guys,
Did yes.
observers,
Yes.
cool,
Tap your
bet
bag.
it.
Tap your bag. All right. Thank you, Allie. Okay, so now we are
I'm,
in Vegas. You guys are partying, YOLO till the wheels fall off. Okay, so at that point in Vegas, did anything happen major at that point, or why did you guys jump at Believe Vegas?
somebody offers their house and come over here, like come out here, like we like shit.
They offered you your
Vegas
house. They offered you a house where?
in Vegas, the house that we
Oh,
went to,
okay.
somebody like was
I
the host,
remember
like
that. I
to
remember
come
that.
out,
I
to
do
come
remember that.
and I could come out here and Nature Boy don't like living rent free, so we took care of all the rent for her. The whole time, duration of the time we was there, we paid her rent, we paid
Really?
all the utilities, everything. And that's at every spot he goes to, he makes sure that happens. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it was just that instant, but everywhere they go and they making
So
sure that the shit is taken care of.
okay, so he wasn't a freeloader. Um, how can I say he wasn't a freeloader with everybody else's money? He would use everybody else's money to pay the rent and the bills and stuff.
Absolutely,
Correct?
absolutely. Everything got taken care of. Like he didn't even really touch it. He don't he to be real, he didn't touch none of the money. The finance team touched everything. The finance team handled all of it like a corporation would. You have a department of people who handle this.
Oh,
You
okay.
got people who handle that. Everybody had a position. That's why everybody didn't know everything. It was very structured and organized. People think that it was just a bunch of people running around. No, no, no. He had captains. He had under people under them, and they had to. And if you didn't respond correctly to the leadership, you got dealt with accordingly to the leadership.
Gang.
Right,
Gang,
right,
gang.
right,
That's how
right,
it
right,
was. He
right.
always said that. He told
I
y'all that.
right. Okay. So, what made you guys leave the house in Vegas? Is what I'm asking.
I left the house in Vegas, me personally, because he disrespected my wife, and when they were doing the spiritual bath whole incident, and he pulled his
Okay,
penis
can you
out on
explain
her,
that to us? Can you go into details about how you disrespected your wife, please? There's people in here that don't know. There's people in
nah,
here who
I
have
know, I
never
know,
heard the
I know,
story.
I know. I'd be like, it's been so many times, so it's like, damn,
I
all
know, I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but
right. No, it's cool, it's
I
cool.
know. We have a lot of new
Okay,
people.
so
Go
one
ahead.
day we was all drinking and shit, we was all fucked up again, and the guys that noticed there was a smell every time we would switch rooms with the ladies, like, because we'd all never be in the same space at the same time unless we was all like dinner or it was at dinner time. That's the only time we all really like mingle together, like together. But other than that, during the day, the women doing their thing, the men doing their thing, and then we would switch rooms, and the room was funky when we went in that motherfucker. We like, bro, we went to him like, bro, we got to do
Not
something. Like the room
funky.
funky to the motherfucker. It smelled like
From the
straight
women?
Medusa in here. Yeah, so he sent us out like go buy whatever Febreze, go buy sockets. Thing.
Wow.
We went and spent, we went and bought everything. And the smell was there. So we was just like, he was like, oh, well, fuck it. We just got to give all the they just need to cleanse. So he came up with this shit. We about to do spiritual baths for all the women. He like, we about to do spiritual baths. They gonna all go
Hey,
get
Charlie.
these. They doing tea baths. Basically, they taking the
Hmm.
herbs, put it in there, and then you getting washed down by other women. You know what I'm saying? And it's supposed to be this spiritual thing. So in the midst of that spiritual thing, he's going in and out of the bathroom. He's drunk. We didn't took shots. We didn't hit the pin, and he's going in there mingling, doing all types of shit with all the women. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he got to my wife, and she, he pulled his dick out on her while she was in the shower, and she, he told her to keep it a secret. Well, she came and told me, boom, and I didn't say nothing because I was like, I was being strategically like, wait a minute, how can I handle this situation without just being emotionally? Because I got a
Hmm.
lot of stake. I got money here, I got my family here, and I'm in Las Vegas. I'm far from home right now. I'm like 3 hours away
Right,
from
right, right,
home.
right.
I don't really got too many people. I had a couple of uncles that I can, but I'm like, nigga, I got my way in and I'm gonna get my way out. So I got smart and I told my wife, you know what? Listen, we out. And she was like, bet, let's go. Like, we going together. Like, so she called a meeting with him. I act like I didn't even know what happened. And he acted like, oh, everything was all good. She, no, tell him what happened last night.
Mhm.
And then he like, oh, he got upset with her, kicked her out of the room. And he like, man, you gonna have a man on mental. So me and him in the garage now. And he like, he trying to tell me this didn't happen, that didn't happen, and she telling me this happened. I'm like, nigga, I'm rocking with my wife, my nigga, because you supposed to be the Messiah, my nigga. So how is you even at this vulnerable stage and you're this point in this house, nigga, where you could be that vulnerable, my nigga, without thinking, without applying all this shit that you've been pressing on all these niggas in the house to do. The 3 C's, the 3 P's, nigga, goes over
Right.
integrity, nigga, all
Right.
that bullshit. You know, you feeding me, nigga. I'm on his head. I'm like, nigga, how you gonna tell me all that? And then you fold right here in the midst of me, my nigga. Like, how is that you the Messiah? He like, nigga, I'm not the Messiah. He like, nigga, I'm just a messenger, nigga. He like, nigga, to make up for it, I'll let you fuck my wife. I'm like, nigga, I'm not here for that, nigga. I'm not here for
Not
none of
passing
that.
the
I'm here,
pussy
nigga,
around.
because I'm trying to build and make my
Oh.
people better and make myself the best version of myself, nigga. So you doing this is not helping, nigga, because now I got to separate myself from this whole shit. And when I told him that, he's like, nah, don't leave, my nigga. He started apologizing. I'm like, nigga, it ain't no apologize, nigga. I feel like, nigga, you know what? I need to isolate from you. I need to isolate from everybody. I need to isolate from this whole situation. And I just need to leave. And he didn't take me serious. So like an hour later, I already had moved the money out. I had my wife already closed our card, canceled the card. They didn't have to give me no cards back. They didn't have to give me none of that. I didn't need it because I
Smart.
just canceled all that shit and I just keep everything that comes
Smart.
after that. And so that's what I did. I gave him 30K when I left. I took 20, 21. So I gave him I left 9 in there. And I left. I booked me a hotel up the street, left. Me and my wife hopped on the Airbnb. We snuck out though. We didn't let nobody know. We snuck out the motherfucking house because everybody was being on their own shit. We just kind of plotted and schemed like a situation in the garage, and then nigga, boom. The owner of the house was like, I told her the situation. She was like, oh, that's fucked up, nigga. I fucks with y'all. Y'all legit. Like, she like, meet me around the corner.
Right.
I'm gonna take y'all wherever y'all gotta go. Boom. So she dropped us at her hotel. We all went and had dinner and all that. They calling us at dinner. Where y'all at? They tripping the whole house up now. Like, nigga, Azeen and Shaka didn't escape.
Whoa.
I didn't get the baby. I
That.
didn't. Nobody know we escaped. We out at dinner with the host.
Grab
And
your
we
shit
just,
and let's go. Baby, it's
yeah,
time to go. Get your shit and let's go right
yeah. It
motherfucking
was
now.
like,
Hurry the fuck up.
so, and it was just like,
Right.
man. So that's why we left, and we didn't go back since then. And we just been
But
doing our
Boomie
own
was
thing.
there. Boomie
Boomie
was
was
there when
still
you
there,
left.
yeah. I told Boomie the situation. I pulled Boomie aside in the closet. I didn't really break it all the way down. I just told him, this nigga wild and I'm out of here, my nigga. Stay here, get whatever you need from this, my nigga, but I'm out.
Like, is your queen?
Okay.
He ain't tell me what he found though.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't
Go
tell him
ahead,
the whole
Boomie.
situation. I just told him I'm out, nigga. This nigga wild, and nigga, he did some wild shit. I just told him like that.
Mm,
We was in the closet. We just talked for a second.
okay. All right. Okay. Boomie, so did you know they
That
were
keyword
leaving? Or you,
escape.
right. You didn't know
Say,
they were leaving?
He didn't
You
know till
didn't
the
know they were
exact.
nah,
leaving?
this nigga Shaka hit me with a text like I left the backpack in the closet. You can have it. I'm like,
Oh.
okay. That's
Okay,
how
so
I
I have a
found
question.
out.
Okay, I have two questions actually. I want to piggyback off of the spiritual bath. Now you said the
Okay.
women had a really bad odor. Do you believe it was because just not clean vagina and not clean body, or do you believe it was diseases, a smell from a
I
disease?
believe it's a little bit of everything. Shit, to be real, I believe it's a little all
Mm,
that shit. It was a little not taking care of themselves properly. You gotta remember, these girls is young. A lot of these girls in there like
I know
20,
they are.
21, 18. So they ain't really got that much experience with life. They don't know nothing about none of this shit. My daughter
No,
18 right now. She don't know about none of this shit. So I don't trust her with nigga
my,
with the car
my
keys.
grandbaby. Hold on, I have to
You
interject.
feel
My
me?
grandbaby is
Like,
7. She
we
take
talking
3
about little
baths a day.
girls.
She don't play that. Right. Yeah. No, you got
And
to
they
learn how to do your hygiene.
not even like young and like really like tapped in like that to that point to where they can understand like, oh
Okay.
my God, I need to take care of myself and stop listening to this
Right.
man that's trying to tell me
That's
how to take care of
sad.
you.
That's sad.
So it's
That's
like,
sad.
I
Right?
picture all of it. Like I believe some of them had some shit they needed to take care of because I'm like, nigga, whoever went and got healed, who
Right.
left and got healed, nobody. So y'all
Right.
all fucking circles and passing, y'all all just
Right.
circling,
Right.
nigga. We circulate that shit a million times.
Right. 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 Okay. So I definitely understand that. Okay. Boomy. Now, if Shaka would have tapped you and said, "Nigga, let's go," would you have left at that point in time? Would you have grabbed your shit and left, or would you have stayed?
I feel like I would addressing the situation more head on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was kind of surprised. Like, once Shaka left and finally went live, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was kind of surprised that's what had happened. So, yeah, definitely. Like, I feel like if I would have knew then, I feel like it would have been a problem. Like, I feel like my wife would have felt like it would have been a major problem. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so your wife
And he
at
wanted
that
us to
time was
keep it a
looped in
secret
too.
too. He didn't want me to tell nobody. He didn't want Azeen to know, let nobody know. He didn't want Velvet to find out what happened. He told me that in the garage, and I'm like, nigga, I ain't trying to cause no problems in the house, nigga. I'm just trying to let a nigga know you a foul nigga, bro. I'm gonna let you know to your face you a foul nigga. And he was like, cool, you can tell me that, but nigga, just don't let the people in the house know. So that's why I left like that. I'm like, bet, you don't want me to see let everybody know you're a fuck nigga, so I'm gonna just leave my way, nigga. I just left. I'm not about to ask you for no money back. I'm not about to do nothing, nigga. I'm about to just get on and ghost on you, nigga. And that's what I did. I got ghost on you. I ain't
Okay,
had to
that's
say nothing.
understandable.
I just let my actions speak for me at that point.
Okay, just checking. I'm just checking on you, Queen. Just checking on you, Queen. Okay, so you guys bounced. You guys got a ride. And at that point you were separated. When did you go back? And
I
Boomie,
didn't go
Boomie was
back
still
after that.
there. You didn't go
I
back
never
after
went
that?
back after that. No.
Okay, so so Boomie, boom. You guys were. When did you guys all pack up and leave at that point from that house in Vegas?
We probably stayed a month.
And then you left after a month. Where did you guys go after that?
Um,
Puerto Rico?
we went to we went to Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico. Let's go.
We weren't supposed to go to Puerto Rico, and oh, I'm like, damn, there's so much shit in Vegas. So the fucking entry exam, they used to try to test the new people to try to
Mm-hmm.
like eliminate them out of the mix type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like to see if you knew the knowledge or not.
So that they can keep the resources.
Right. So he basically he came up with the entry exam for the new people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm already like, nigga, I already know the 5 sciences. I'm like, nigga, nigga, I'm on that. Like, nigga,
Right.
like, good. So he get to asking me certain questions. We go out to the beach one day,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I got half of them right, half of them wrong. This is in the build up before we took the test, right?
I'm listening to you. Yeah.
And he kind of like
Thank.
trying to point that I don't know all of the knowledge. But then I challenged the whole group. He had the whole group surrounding me, right? I'm like
Okay.
majority of them don't even know the answer to these questions you just asked. And he like, what? He like, fuck that. He like, hey, you know what I'm saying? They know this shit, this, that, and so forth. I'm like, ask him that shit you just asked me. So he got to asking them the same question.
We knew they done
Half of them got the questions wrong. They didn't know the answer to the question. So that's when it got to the point when he like everybody got to take the test. But at first, it was supposed to be just for the new members to potentially eliminate us, because he was like, if we didn't pass to a certain level, then we had to go.
Mm.
You know what I'm
Mm-mm-mm.
saying? So that's why he even came up with the entry exam. So they used to
Too many
always
people.
like, we were supposed to go to Puerto Rico. I don't have a
Mm-hmm.
passport, right? And I noticed like when they switched the idea of like we going to Mexico, like he know I don't got no passport. Ain't nobody put me to the side,
Right.
let me know. He just made it enough, but like we going to Mexico, and I'm like, oh okay, so I'm just supposed to deal with. All right, okay, you know what I'm saying? But I still end up going though. I still end up going though.
Okay, so did everybody leave from the house in Vegas and go to the next house,
So a
or
lot
were
of
there people that left?
um,
No.
Star ended up leaving.
Yep.
Tron
Star did
ended up
leave.
leaving. Shaka, I mean, and his baby left. Who else had left?
Star. Star.
this already.
Kite came back.
Kite came back. Kite came back before I left, though. Before I left, he came back.
And then
Hey,
it was
Terry.
like, and then it's like they had them niggas like fuck him up, like almost like as a reinitiation back into the group. Like Kite got fucked up.
A DP, they disciplined him. A DP, like you doing a gang. A DP. That's what that is. That's a DP.
No. Nature Boy didn't do that. He did that to himself. He said, "I feel bad." I told Caliber that if I ever left, that I wanted him to beat me up. My nigga, he asked to get beat up. Nature Boy didn't have nothing.
What the fuck?
Kite wanted to get beat up. He said he had hands. And he wanted to see Caliber, and we was like, well, so be it then. Let's see it happen.
That's the extent of them trying to prove their worth that they'll go.
They was trying to prove themselves, yeah, but he didn't orchestrate. Kite wanted to fight.
He didn't.
Wow.
I told Kite, no, don't do it, bro. He was like, no, I got to take this one. I'm like, okay, if you got to, then nigga, serve a purpose.
You don't understand what but none of you have any experience in gang shit, do you? All you're describing, literally, violations,
trust me, I
the
know
knowledge
what the fuck going on. I'm just sitting back watching this shit, but I'm in there like, nigga.
Fuck. This is exactly what that is.
Okay, so let's stay on track. I want to keep the interview on track now. I know we having a good time, but let's stay on track. Okay, so several members left in Vegas. So where did you guys go to after Vegas? Was it Puerto Rico or was it Mexico?
Wait, it's so much shit that you missing though. Vegas is a lot of shit that you got. You got to go through. You got to let Boomie go through Vegas because
okay,
Mexico
go ahead,
is a
Boomie.
ride. So we got to finish.
So
Vegas
let's go.
Vegas
Okay, boom. Everybody get in the car. We're gonna go through this Vegas ride. Boom. Okay, I'm ready. We out. Go ahead.
Hear you, bro.
Can't hear you, Boomie. Boomie, we can't hear you.
So
we ready for the Vegas ride. Okay.
So I'm pretty sure a lot of people know about the story of True and Loyal fight. Like there was a lot of altercations like outside in the community encouraged that was like kind of blew my mind. I was just kind of like, it kind of put me back in the space of being familiar, like the environment where I came from. It kind of started making me feel like I was on 7 Mile in Detroit all over again at the liquor store. Like, it was like a fight every other night. Like, so that same night that he's saying that they took the spiritual baths, we was outside and I just remember like True like talking about I'm tired of your shit, and just discussing. And we turn around, he like wailing on Loyal, like what at it? And I'm like, damn. So they gonna break it up, right? But then they like but then they set it up and they was like they started encouraging it, like set it back up for round 2. For round 3, it was like egging it on, like shit, fuck it, like let's go type shit. And we kind of in a gated community. It's like, and I'm sitting here thinking like, nigga, they about to call the police. Like,
wow.
So shit like that will be going on. I'll be like,
Azeen,
I just get to thinking like, do they really be present and what they really be doing? It's like it's real. Like you can tell like it's deep mental issues going on. Like they'll be like chanting, like it's like spewing all over the motherfucking place. Like that shit was crazy. Like and they used to always like be encouraging like competitive fights. Trying to check each other, trying to prove their worth to him, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be the one that checked the next nigga about being out of order and shit like that. And yeah, that shit was wild. And then you had like one night, I think that was the same night, I keep saying that one night, Malia tried to leave that night. She tried to leave that night. And she was running downstairs trying to get the fuck out. And Zoka
was pregnant at that time.
grabbed her, drug her back up the stairs. I'm like, damn, like this shit is wild.
And that's when he started whooping her ass. It seemed like I don't know what we just know. We just heard her screaming, nigga. They was like, nigga, he up there whooping her ass. I was like, what the fuck going? This shit crazy. It was that was the wildest night out of all the nights. Because there was so much shit going on. So many people getting into it. The women was acting up too. It wasn't just the men, it was the women acting up too. The women was sparking that shit and pushing, and they was egging that shit on.
Damn. So, okay, so is there anything else you want to add on the Las Vegas ride before we go to our next?
I think he can move forward. I think something else.
Hmm?
That was the most important part, though. There was a lot of fights going on at that time.
Okay.
Oh, the marriages too. Everybody got married.
They all got married.
We was all supposed to get married. Yeah, I was supposed to get married too. Bomie was supposed to get married.
Okay, so that's when everybody got married. Right. So that's the question I was asking you about.
And it's funny because right before niggas got married, they wasn't even with. A lot of them wasn't even with those women. Like he kind of the majority of the tribe split up where it was like male, female just split up, and he literally had just dished niggas out wives like a week or two before they went to go get married.
He had kicked Sounds out too. Sounds had left again too.
Sounds, I forgot about Sounds. Yeah, Sounds.
I forgot about Sounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm leaving too.
He chose the wife. He chose whose wife was going to be who. He just assigned a woman to a man, and that was it.
Say it again.
So he chose whose wife was going to be whom. He just picked to do.
Yes, he chose who wife was going to be whose. And even if somebody was like pushing against it, a lot of the women they be like a lot of the women like nah. A lot of the women rather either be with him or by themselves than be with the other men.
But the marriage official. Was officially done.
How many marriages were official?
People got married. Like four.
How many marriages were official?
You got Caliber, Efru, Solar, and
They're legally married.
They're legally married.
You got True and Sheba, you got Natureboy, and you got Velvet.
And him and Velvet.
Say that again.
And him and Velvet.
Who in the Tyrion?
Mente and Syrian.
Oh, Mente, yeah. Syrian, they did get married.
Yeah, Mente and Syrian.
Yeah.
And Mente's also
I talked to Mente.
Well.
I love Mente. I love Mente. Yeah, he came in my life. Yeah.
Him and Velvet got married.
But when you were Shaka, you were on the finance team, and you had do you have access to see if they were all married? Like, was he filing joint taxes for them? I'm trying to think about why he wanted marriage. Was it for strength, or was it for the unified tax purpose?
It was for the police purposes because they were calling it a sex code, and if everybody's married, then you can't call it a sex code. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and there was a lot of NDAs getting signed. He was trying to make everybody sign NDAs at that time.
Okay.
Malia didn't marry nobody.
Malia didn't marry nobody. Aya didn't marry nobody. Trying to think. Yeah, Zoka got married.
At the time Anna was there, she didn't marry nobody.
Anna didn't get married, yeah.
Okay, so Malia is not married?
Interesting.
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Sheba is married to True, yeah.
Malia couldn't get married. Sheba married to True.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, damn. So that's legal paperwork right there.
Yeah.
Hot damn. Okay, so is there anything you guys want to add for the Vegas run?
Yeah. Me and my wife, we split up. She ended up leaving.
That made you an Avon.
She said we didn't split up. She just left.
She was over that shit.
Yeah, she was over the shit. She was
She
pregnant.
wasn't vibing with the ladies anyways. Like the ladies had no type of connection at
Right.
all. None of the ladies together. They had their little groups in within each other.
So yes, I did put my hands on my wife.
Thank you, Pro.
I grabbed her up, and I aggressively took her to a closet, and me and her had a like we were yelling back and forth, but I didn't slap her, hit her, bruise her, like none of that shit.
And I ain't never touched my wife in no type of way like that. I ain't did nothing. I yelled, but I ain't did none of that shit.
I mean, like I said, she right here. Like she said, I didn't like hurt her at all. You know what I'm
For
saying?
those in the
And then
comments.
also, but I'm not making no excuse. Like I was wrong for even taking it that far. And me and her have addressed that. I've addressed that with her own personal family and her brothers and the whole
Fact.
9 yards.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like
As you should.
that's not an unaddressed. I even when Star spoke about it, I even jumped up on Star Live and I even thanked her for even speaking on that publicly before I even left. She spoke on it publicly before I even left, and I even thanked her for even holding me responsible on that level. So you know what I'm saying? That's nothing that I never tried to run away from. But
Thank you for being honest. Thank you for being honest. I appreciate your honesty.
that But I also want to clear up that I've noticed certain narratives exaggerate, like
Mm-hmm.
I
Clear
actually
it up.
physically hurt her or struck her or choked her up, and it's like, nah, it definitely wasn't to that degree. While I say that, I make no excuse for myself. Like, it was
Fact. It don't
definitely
make it right.
beyond a line that was necessary. Definitely.
I really respect that. I've been in a similar situation, bro. I do the same thing.
Right.
I respect your
Okay.
growth, man. That's definitely impressive.
Yeah, thank you. I respect that. I respect that. Okay, so that happened in Vegas. So now let's go to the next house.
We got vans. We bought vans. We got 3 vans in Vegas.
We started buying cars and shit at this time now.
And they got a conversion van, like an 18 passenger van, and like another like minivan. And we took a road trip through from Vegas through Texas. We like stopped periodically. I think we stopped at like an Airbnb in Texas and stayed a couple nights, um and then we went to Mexico. Traveled through Mexico to Cancun. Cancun was the destination, and we stopped at a couple locations along the way throughout Mexico for like a night or so at different Airbnbs. And yeah, we ended up going to Cancun.
Okay.
You
Okay,
said
so
we
then
So
you
what
guys
happened
went
in
to
Cancun?
Cancun.
also
Yeah, is
we
that when
bought.
the
So
fight happened? Wait.
the
A lot of
fight was
shit up until the fight.
we stayed in 2 different spots. This was still prior to the fight. And again, let me mention that this is still within the time frame where we're not really going live much. He's not really going live. Like he's really sporadically going live. So
Wow.
in Cancun, I feel like he went live like a handful of times. You know what I'm saying? But we we was in 2 different houses. Um, he had him and his, I want to say wife, his wives, him and his wives, and then like the main few people that's like, like Solar and like True, I
Mhm.
think Mente at the time, and their wives. They stayed in the house with him. The rest of the men that didn't have like a woman, myself included, because like I said, me and my woman had left. So it was the men that didn't have women, and Caliber and Eferu. Caliber and Ethel had a room to themselves, and everybody else was in the house. Nature Boy, and one day we had he just hit like the group chat because we used to like function on the group chat so that we can kind of like all be up to date on what the plans of the day was. You know what I'm saying? Prior to us getting moving and stuff like that, and he basically was just like Ethel report. All the rest of the women like report, right? And basically
Right.
was like, all y'all my wives now. And to the men, whoever got a problem with it, y'all can leave. Y'all got a problem with it, right?
Wow.
And I'm like, damn, that was intense. But what blew my mind even more is, mind you, at the time, Ethel was in the house with Caliber, with us. As soon as that message came through, it's like a switch went off in her head, and Caliber was dead. And she did no eye contact toward him, and she was like burning rubber, packing her bags to get ready to get in the car so she could go back over there. The nigga she just married. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that kind of blew me. And so they packed her up, took her over to the house, and then all of the men that had wives over there, they packed all of their shit out up and sent the men over here and took all their wives too.
Oh shit.
So you took everybody's wife in one swipe.
Mm.
So that's when, you start to get into, I feel like maybe Velvet and maybe I think Honor spoke on it. Like it was just like a crazy sex party. You know what I'm saying? Just like ridiculously, like just slutting them out, like back to back to back, doing them
Yeah, you
dirty.
gotta go in detail because nobody know this, Boomie. Don't nobody know this.
You know,
Tell them right now. You gotta go detail.
and
About it.
at this particular point,
Mm-hmm.
the people at the other house, you don't like outside of him taking the women, you don't really know what's going on in the house until
Right.
the women leave and then they start exposing like this is what happened in that time frame. Because like I said, that the women they going through whatever the fuck they going through in the house, and then when we reconvene and go out to eat as a collective, they moving like ain't shit wrong. Like they enjoying that they all his wives now. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even have no indication that it's even that wild until like Syrian and Velvet leaves and give their account of what was going on in that time frame.
Right.
I feel like, and then like I feel like Syrian end up given back to Mente, and I think Zoka went back to Solar after a certain period of time because they was the most adamant about those were they men. You know what I'm saying? Like at
Mm-hmm.
that particular time, like Zoka was really about like Solar, my man. Syrian was really about like Mente, my man. You know what I'm saying? So even though they committed to being his wife for whatever few days, like I guess they were still being resistant to being okay with whatever, so he gave them back. So I would imagine that those women was starting to share with their counterparts what they was going through.
Right.
And that
And what did
in
they
these
share?
past couple
And what
weeks,
did they
whatever.
share? Get into what they shared because I know what I
No, no,
heard. So
no. I'm saying they wasn't sharing it with us at that time. That's what I'm saying. They was
okay.
like Syrian would go and confide in Mente about what had happened. it was a lot of just slutting them out. But I never really sat and watched the detail as what injuries was sustained, what acts, who had to do what, who did what. I don't know.
Boomie, you said slutting him out. Now, if he was just slutting him out, there shouldn't have been any injuries. So, what injuries are you referring to?
I just heard that injuries were sustained.
What injury? What injury did you hear? Come on. I mean, it's an interview.
Forceful entry, rough sex type injury.
Forceful injury. So, forceful injury. Okay, so I've had sex with a man before. Okay. And I've had a man forcefully enter my area before, but it was with my consent. Was this without consent or was this with consent?
See, I don't know that.
You don't know. What
I
did you
don't know
hear?
that.
What did you hear? What did you? The forceful entry.
I just heard that a lot of women were doing things that they did not want to do.
Okay. Thank you.
And,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't ask you in
and
specifics.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm telling you all I know. I heard that women were
Uh-uh.
forced to do things that they didn't want to do, and the women, particularly Syrian, she was wishing and hoping that Mente was stepping up more for her for what she had gone through. I don't know
Right.
specific her injuries though.
You just heard. These are things you heard. So
Did she say what
respectfully,
happened to
these
her
are
in the
things you
live?
just
In
heard.
that live?
That's why I don't know.
Well, you said you heard, so you heard it from somewhere, and you said there was a lot about it, right?
I'm saying I don't know the detail of what it is she said.
Okay, so what I heard from about Syrian was Syrian had anal sex with him and he bust her open, and
There we
she
go.
was recovering from that, and she's still recovering from it, from what I know.
Okay, now was
Yeah,
it? Did you hear if it was
I heard he was
allegedly?
having
Was it
anal sex with
without?
all.
Okay, allegedly
I heard
was
he
it
was having anal
without?
sex. Huh?
Allegedly was it without consent?
Allegedly,
Allegedly.
they all had no choice. They had to do the shit. That's all I'm know. I don't know if you want to say that's without consent. If you don't have no choice, that's without consent. Shit.
That's without
Everybody
consent.
So
should have the freedom of choice.
that's called
You should never take away
right.
nobody's freedom of choice. So if they
So
say
that's
no and
called
they say, nigga,
sodomy.
I was forced to do it, then they was forced to do it.
So they were
Forced stop.
forced to get sodomized. Hold on a minute. They were forced to get sodomized.
Allegedly, from what I heard.
Allegedly.
I wasn't
Allegedly, they
there
were
at that
forced.
time, but somebody reached out to me and said something to me about that. So I allegedly heard some shit like that.
Wow. So it wasn't through the vagina, it was through the anal area. Okay. Now we have that clear. Okay. So, okay. So I have a question. So after that, and after the women went back to their, after,
Honest,
Boomie, after the women went back, go ahead, baby.
No, I'm just saying, like, I'm being honest as I could possibly be. Like,
Right. I understand. I understand. Oh, no, baby. I'm not holding you. I understand that you're speaking as far as the accounts of what you know. Okay. So now, when the women came back, did you notice a depression or any type of change in their mental status at that point?
specifically Syrian, yes. Zoka, not so much.
Okay.
But,
But Syrian,
but the thing about Syrian
honey.
been long taking a stance that she wanted to be with Mente. Like, that was the thing that she had been
And
being
you know, that's
vocal
his thing. He
about.
want to break them
And
from that. He want them to only want him. And then once they only want, then I'll give you back to him now.
Okay. So he wanted to make
Like
sure
they
that
said,
they
like he said,
desired
we
only him.
wasn't there. We just got bits and pieces of that aspect
Bits
because
and
whatever
pieces.
he did in that
Correct.
house, he did in the house by himself.
yeah,
Wow.
He was the
like
only man that ever witnessed it.
once she came back, once Syrian came back to Mente and Zoka came back to Solar, they pretty much stayed to themselves. Because even when we around each other, they don't want to keep too much of the men around the women. So even when they came back, they was kind of just to themselves. Those two couples were more isolated to themselves. So I know that they started to confide in their partner what was happening. But the men, when they came and reconfided with us, they would kind of keep that, whatever it was between their women, between themselves.
Okay. I understand. I
And then
understand.
we just woke
Okay.
up
So
one day, and then we just woke up one night, and Syrian and Mente was sneaking out.
Right,
But
and
they
that's
never,
when I seen them on
never really
IG.
said nothing.
Hmm.
Yeah, they had hit me up. I had got some of the story from that, and then I was getting bits and pieces from everybody because they like we need. Siri and called me like we need help, and I thought she was bullshit. I thought it was Nature Boy them fucking with us or whatever, trying to get bread from us. So I'm like, let me know if this really you, you know. And then she
Wow,
like,
this
no,
is a
Mente's
lot.
coming too. And then I'm like, oh, okay, bet. If it's just you, I didn't believe it. But if it's her and Mente, then I was like, all right, bet. We shoot some. So we shot them some bread and helped them get out too.
Okay, so
Real
We helped
quick,
so
everybody get out. Everybody that left came to my house at some
we
point
okay.
got
damn
this
there.
Go ahead,
Tron, I
Daniel.
had Tron for
saying
months.
though.
I had the Terry, I had Star, I
Uh-huh.
had Mente still here. I had Loyal, I had all of them at my crib here since in Atlanta. Since here, I've been helping them out, get on their feet, helping them heal, helping them, whatever they need out here on these streets. After they leave, we've been out here. We've been making a
Okay. Okay.
just a
Go
just
ahead,
a,
Daniel.
a commitment to ourselves, just to make sure that everybody out here that's looking for help, like we out here looking for help, that we do whatever we can to help them.
Wow. Okay. Daniel, go ahead.
I just want to clarify for you too, real quick. This is a statement that I'm making based upon what I heard. You're saying that everything you were talking about is alleged, all
Right.
done through
Yes,
hearsay, and that you guys were
yes,
never present or party to any of these acts, consensual or non consensual, and you were actually not present, so you had no part in it. That's what you said, right?
absolutely.
Cool. All right, that's all.
Juju says you have an echo, baby. Daniel, you have an echo.
Let me
It
turn it
sounds
off
good. It
real quick.
sounds good to me.
Yeah, it sounds good to me too. I don't hear an echo.
It sounds
Okay.
fine. It sounds fine.
I do hear an
Okay.
echo, but I turned it off a second ago and I still heard it.
Right. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so once the women were returned to their husbands or their lovers or their boyfriends, Shaka, did you want to say something, my love?
No, 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 no. You good. You good.
Okay, okay. Okay. Once that happened, Boomie, okay. And did Velvet leave at that time from that house, or she was still there?
No, we moved to a part of Mexico before
You guys,
before
was that
she.
Baja California? Is that when you guys went to Baja California?
No. That's when we were. I forget the part of Mexico it was, but that's when the fight went down. That's when the Malia and Velvet fight went down. That was after we
Okay,
left there. We went to another location after like a month.
okay. So let's talk about that really quick. I don't want to spend too long on the fight because we've all seen the fight. Well, a lot of us have seen the fight on YouTube. Velvet and Malia got into fight. Were they fighting over Nature Boy, or was that a personal issue that they had with one another? Honestly.
They had a personal issue with each other,
Okay.
and I don't even want to. I don't want to come off like I'm trying to defend him in any way, but
Right.
I can't for a fact speak that he was trying to go through all kind of different measures to avoid for them having to fight each other. Like they
But
was
they were
really trying
getting
to fight each other on
so
different
they were getting
accounts.
on his
Like
nerves basically.
yeah, they've been trying to fight each other. He
Okay.
been trying to stop them from fighting each other. And they just wouldn't let it go.
But Malia needed that one though, so the people pushed for it.
Right. Yeah.
They was
Yeah. Okay, so then they got into the fight, okay, and so forth and so. Now, was Malia getting sick at that point? Did you notice her getting sick? I noticed looking at her online, she lost a lot of weight. Now, did you guys notice her being lethargic or laying in bed more or hmm?
Malia was
Malia
anorexic from the time I've been there. She was always skinny.
she was sick the whole time. Her and Sheba, they looked sick the
Shiva,
whole
Vice,
time.
Vice was underweight.
Okay, so
They
the
tried
three
to
of
make
them
sure
were
Vice
sick.
ate.
Huh?
So they were sick, like malnourished. They didn't want to eat, or you said anorexic. Who was that? Allegedly they were anorexic, or you just didn't know what was wrong with them?
I think they
They were
had a
just
lot of mental issues going on at that time, and they didn't really understand. Like they wasn't loving themselves properly, so they wasn't eating, even when everybody else was eating.
okay.
It wasn't about like there wasn't enough food. There was enough food. There were just times
So
when people, when
Malia,
you preparing the food, everybody didn't get to eat when the food was prepared, but there was still food there though.
okay.
People just took
So
that shit and
Malia
ran
wasn't
with that shit and ran.
okay. So Malia wasn't eating properly. Sheba wasn't eating properly, and Kite, you say, was not eating properly.
And
Kite,
also like Kite ended up saying it in his interview, like, to be honest with you, a lot of them motherfuckers be stressed the fuck out. One thing that I
They be
realized a
stressed. They
lot,
don't get no sleep.
they be stressed the hell out. And on top of that, what I realized what was weird to me is they wasn't always loyal to the mission off the camera. Like, they'd be kind of like back and forth, like, type of deal. Like, that's what kind of like, in my mind, I'm like, damn, like, niggas was like open to going to buying food on the side. Like, they not always loyal to this nigga like that. Like, that's what
No, they was loyal to us, really. Like they confided in us heavy. Like they told us all the secrets. They told us everything. Like we would literally take them out to eat on the side. Like nigga, let's go out to eat. Nigga, like nigga, we go get the whip. Let's go. Me and Boomie was sliding food, sliding money, nigga, whatever we needed. They didn't know what me and Boomie was on. They was like, these niggas is taking care of us.
Right, facts. Okay, okay. So once you guys went to the next house in Mexico, how was that?
Two different households again. Like, one thing I started realizing, what it seemed to me is it felt like he was trying to intentionally like keep more space between me and him. It's like the longer that I was there, the less I saw him.
Mm.
Like he separating us, like he'd put me, I'd be in another house, and I'd be kind of like in charge, like managing the other household, while he'd just kind of be doing his own thing in his own house.
Wow. So you guys were in two separate households. How did that happen? Like who was with him in his household and who was with you in your household?
Um, him and all of the wives in his household, and I want to Polar, True, and not Lloyd. And all of the rest of the men, Mente,
Mhm.
Loyal, Caliber, Price, Kite,
Mhm.
and myself were all in the other house.
Okay. And how long did that last?
That was about a month.
Okay. And then where did you guys all go from there? Did you guys stay in that house and he left and went somewhere else? Or how did that work?
From there, it started getting weird.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Um, the men in the household that I were in, including myself, we started to be in like left out of the loop about what was the next plan of action or where we were headed or where we were going.
Mm.
And
So he was trying to separate himself.
and then within that same time frame, unbeknown to us, I feel like True and them knew, but like Caliber and Price, me, Kite, we didn't know. This nigga Natureboy packed up and went to Puerto Rico
And
while we
left
were
you
still in
guys.
Mexico.
You guys didn't know he left you guys?
Not know that he had left. And we had no clue where we were about to go next. And when
So
we
he
saw
ran
him
off on
on
the plug.
live, in a different house while we were still in Mexico, I was the only one that did the math. I'm like, I'm looking at the sunlight in his background, and I'm like, I think he in Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying?
What?
So
He ran off on the plug
yeah.
because you guys all were providing him with money along with the women, and he ran
But
off on the plug.
he went to Puerto Rico, and
Hmm.
then he organized all of the men to drive the vans back up through Mexico to the States,
Facts.
right? So, mind you, we still don't know where we're headed, where we're going. While we're driving through
Wow.
Mexico,
You don't
I'm
know.
asking questions. I'm like, yo, like, where we headed?
Right.
Niggas going out their way not to let us know. And then,
What the heck?
not to mention, they like, and Boomie, you driving. So by this time, they poking at me so much to the point where I'm seeing, I'm like, okay, y'all niggas going out y'all way ridiculously to just make me feel uncomfortable, to make me just get the fuck on. Like I'm just seeing it from all angles at this point. So by the time that we get ready to leave that house, I already got funds set up to be able to figure. I'm trying to weigh my options out. I'm like, am I about to get an Airbnb here and figure out from there?
What?
Am I about to go where we about to go and figure out from there? Like I'm weighing at this point, I'm already unplugged from the shit. I'm just trying to figure out like how I'm going
What's
about it.
next? Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
it just seemed like the more that I stayed on point, the more I was being tugged at to make it seem like I was off, or I didn't fit in, or this, that, and so forth, without me even doing anything. And then
Wow.
I'm like trying to play intimidation mind games with me and shit, and I'm just like, I'm not playing with this,
Right.
right?
Right.
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 So, mind you, when we was in Vegas, I told y'all I let them know I had no passport, right?
Right.
Right. So here we are driving back. They put me in the driver's seat. Not to
Okay.
add, not to add that Solar had been came to me back when we was in Cancun about how we could be able to go to the U.S. Embassy and be able to get my paperwork in order, right? Right.
Wow.
I keep checking back with that. They keep putting that priority off, putting it 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 off to
Right.
the point where I get time. So I'm like, I'm like, these niggas trying to get me stuck up. They trying to get me caught up on some shit. But I'm like, it's cool. I'm like, I'm gonna rock it out. Fuck it. I'm gonna drive
Right.
back across the border, and as soon as I drive back across that bitch, nigga, I'm out.
Okay.
So we drove, we drove back to Texas. We crossed over the borderline, um, and I let them know, like, look, my time is up. I'm out. I didn't even make no long drawn out speech. I already had it built up. I'm just like, look, I'm out. Y'all can
Goofy.
take me to
Right. Right.
y'all can take me to this phone store. I'm about to grab me a new phone. Y'all can drop me off at Walmart, and I'll figure out from there.
No 2 week notice. No nothing. Nigga, I'm out. Deuces. Okay. I feel you. I feel you on that
And
one.
they didn't give me no hard time and nothing like that. Like they called him on the phone to let him know that I was leaving. He ain't talk crazy, and it wasn't nothing like they didn't give me no hard time.
He was just like, whatever. Mm. Daniel, go ahead, Daniel.
Okay,
But like
so
I said, they've been trying to get. I noticed for a while they've been trying to present a certain scenario where I would leave on my own anyway.
Mm.
So they was totally cool.
this
Okay.
statement is not
Go
meant
ahead,
to be
Daniel.
accused of sway in any way, Bomie. Not at all. So I want you to understand that before I even phrase it. I'm just phrasing it on the mindset of what I'm listening to and just trying to understand it better. The way you're phrasing it, you say these niggas make, and you say pretty much you're making it sound as if you were under some sort of duress or something, and that you were made like they put you in the driver's seat. So talking to you so far, you sound like an independent-minded and strong individual. When you were talking from the beginning, you said that you had significant finances coming in there. But then I realized that your wife left, and that can put you in a mentally vulnerable state where you want to cling to someone else for dependency or be with them. What I really want to know specifically is, were you under some form of duress? Meaning, were you under some form of threat of injury, bodily harm? If you were to not do these things, why are you making it? Why are you phrasing it in the sense that you did not have control? But then, when you said it was time to leave, it doesn't seem like you were saying that you were put with any kind of accosting nature. You were able to leave. So it sounds like you're saying you were in free will this entire time. But the way you're phrasing it is as you were being made to do it. I want you to clarify what caused you to stay, what caused you not to intervene with these things that were going on, and why specifically. Were you a victim? Were you held there? Were you under some sort of threat, or did you just were you complacent or compliant? Or that sounds that's kind of putting you in the box. Let me not even say that. I want to make sure that
Yeah.
you I don't want to accuse you of being compliant. I feel like, if you're not acting against something when it's going on in your present, that is a form of compliance. It means you're part of the situation. But that being put aside, without any for nature, why are you phrasing it that way? Were you made to stay, or were you choosing to stay? Which one is it? And if so,
Restricted.
why?
No, given the vulnerable space that I was in my mind, I was choosing to stay. Now the thing that I'm talking about, as far as like the weird energy that I started to feel, as I started to feel a certain vibe, like they were trying to irritate me to leave. It was almost like they was like trying to like set up scenarios to like without like me doing anything to stir up no drama. It was almost like they were trying to like stir up drama to constantly like make me feel as if like I was causing an issue or some energy blockage of some nature. That's the type of mind control reverse psychology game that I start picking up on, that start getting heavier and heavier, that I'm speaking to, that I was like recognizing like, okay, I'm tired of playing these type of manipulating mind control, trying to make me feel like I need to work to fit in or make myself feel like I'm worthy to be. I'm like, I'm done playing those games. But as far as like what I endured through and I watched that didn't necessarily sit well with me, I never was forced in no way, shape, form, or capacity to allow those things or not intervene into those things. Just given whatever vulnerable space that I was in, and however I was just trying to just go along with the flow to just try to observe and figure out like what was really truly going on. And like I said, like I'm not now I done went through the breakup again. Like I went through the breakup before I went, and then I went through a breakup like she done came and left again. So I'm kind of like, I'm just not in the real space where I'm like,
Kind of floating along, it sounds like.
say it again.
Kind of floating along. Like one of the people in the comments just made that you were actually under mental duress, and that is a form of it. Psychological oppression situations will be that. You're in a situation with a breakup, you feel without your queen, you're in a vulnerable space, you're trying to cling to something, and it's like you were in a situation where it sounds like you also basically saying that with the environment, you would actually have been on some type of duress. If you were to intervene, you probably get your ass whooped by all those people too, and then you have nowhere to.
She could have got real.
That's
Yeah,
the
no,
part
I
I
get
don't
it.
understand. You got
Yeah,
like
she could
50
have got real.
men in one room that one person could do anything they want at any given time. I don't give a damn how much fight you do. You got 15 people, it's 15
You
people.
screwed.
They ain't even got to know how to fight.
Enough of them,
Damn.
you need dead in the water. I get you. Okay, I get you, man. I get you, man. That's a rough place to be in. People don't necessarily
Right.
understand. That's a really rough space to be in. I just wanted to make sure it was clear that people understood that, like, no, like you were under attack. I don't know if you understand it. You don't understand this shit till later on in life, and you look at it. No, you're being oppressed. You're in a messy situation. You're not just compliantly sitting there. It's like, well, shit. If I go against this crowd's gonna go against me. And
And
you
not
keep
only
saying,
that, Boomie had a lot of money invested into the situation as well.
yeah, so you're
Boomie
financially tied
came in
up.
with a bag. Boomie came in with a bag too, gave him a bag as well. You know, that's just kind of empty-handed. Like a lot of them don't do nothing because they came empty-handed, so they ain't got no say so anyways and nothing. That's why a lot of them
Mhm.
just go along with the flow and go along with the show because they
Mm.
came with nothing, so he treat them like nothing.
Right.
You invested in the kitty. I've
Do
been there
whatever
before.
he want. He could bend the now because they feel like
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
we
You
didn't
keep
come there
saying the
with
word
oh I
yeah.
had an owing you mentality. We came there with as equals.
Yeah, I get you. I
Mhm.
get you. But it wasn't like that. That's how it is in a lot of situations. It's
But then
messed
we
up. Like
seen the shit and we weren't getting treated like we felt like we should be getting treated. That's why we left.
Right.
then you
I
were like
understand.
financially tied in. You're kind of like held. So you're kind of you're screwed. You're like, man, you had the bag. I can't necessarily take it from you, but I'm here. I need to see my investment. Also, you as a kid,
And
you
once I
have
got
the
my money,
natural in.
like closed doors, people getting able to get to the finances like that ever again. Because I was the only person that ever done that.
Right, that makes
So
sense.
once
When you
that
start
happened,
out,
it closed
wow.
a lot of doors for people, and a lot of people couldn't get that close no more. So you got to remember, there was a lot of trust issues going on after I left with all that money, and all the other people started leaving. Then they came with me. Then we went on the internet while they were in silence. He didn't even know we were going to go on the internet. We went on the internet because he felt like we signed the NDA,
Wow.
which nobody. So he felt like nobody would be able to say nothing. So they Atlanta and we talked about Azeen, Star and Siri came out and we talked about everything that happened in Vegas, everything that happened
Right.
in LA, everything that happened in
Right.
Mexico happened.
Well, to
All
be
the
clear,
PP, everything that they're asking about, all the bullshit they talking, we brought all shit to the light that when we left, and we all
I
came
remember
together.
that. I
an
remember when you
NDA
guys did that.
or
Yes,
non-disclosure
he made
agreements
them
are
sign.
only
Yes, he
valid.
made them sign an NDA.
Yeah, but like you said, Cherry, you put it out. Cherry, you put it out right there. Made them sign. They signed it under duress, which makes it an invalid
Absolutely,
document and cannot be
and there
supportable.
was no
I'm
witness
looking
there,
at you.
notarization of it or nothing. So we already knew it was bullshit from the jump. If you ain't,
Right.
Made to
already know.
sign it. Messed up. All right, I want to make sure I'm not vilifying.
That house was done under distress because everybody was under sleep, was deprived of sleep. Everybody was deprived
Mhm.
of food at time because we would only eat like once a day, and when we ate, it was like we had meetings in between that, and then we had all that. So it was like you didn't even get to really enjoy that shit because you had so much shit going on, and it was just always constantly moving. So it was like little rest, a
And
lot of
one thing
movement.
about
Right.
it, man, you can see by the way you're moving now with your business, with your vegan business, everything else, you clearly have a path
But
that you're walking.
Daniel, I don't want to get, baby, I don't want to get off task. We got a lot to cover. Okay. Okay. We can give him the accolades after. Okay.
You
Thank you.
see
I'm
business.
sorry, you
I
guys.
love
I
it.
just want to really get to this. You
That
never.
at that particular time, that's when I actually was able to be in a healthy environment with my wife, and we actually started to heal from the original
Okay.
breakup.
That's what
We
I want
never
to.
was able, even though we reconvened there, we still never really got a chance to address our initial issues.
Okay.
Even though we had came together for a period of time.
Mhm.
So it was like we had a lot of there to do. And then I was preparing for a home birth.
Mhm.
She was, so we ended up having a home birth. Not too
Okay.
long after.
Okay. Go ahead, Shaka. You want to add to that? He said he left Mexico, so he was out after
No,
that.
no, no, no,
He
no,
didn't go to
no. I
Puerto
was
Rico.
just everybody in the comments. Nah, you
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Go ahead, Boom.
So once you left Boomie from Mexico, did you ever return to carbonation?
No, no.
You never. Okay. So your journey ended in Mexico with Nature Boy.
My journey ended in Texas as a custom. But yeah, it
Well,
ended in
you know,
Mexico.
but when you officially left,
Yes,
okay, okay. So your journey, okay. So and your journey ended when you left in Vegas, correct, Shaka? Okay. So now let's get into some things. Okay. So once you guys both left, Shaka, you did an interview or you did a tell-all on YouTube with you, Natiri,
Azeen,
Unitary Star
Azeen,
Azeen. Yeah.
Nateri, Azeen, and Star. Because I felt like when I
Okay.
when I connected with Nateri and them, they wanted a lot. They had a lot that they wanted to say about what happened, but they were
Right.
they were scared that because every time Nateri was live from that, you see how they do her. Get live, stop talking. They not your family. And so when she came around me, she's like, no, you got me amped up talking. I'm like, well, shit, let's go live there. Shit, we was having some wine and we
Facts.
just shit and we just let it all out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got to tell
Let's do it.
their little story of what they went through, and the whole world went crazy because nobody knew half that shit would happen. Like, oh my god, because we were in such silent mode at that time.
Right. I was waiting for you guys to go live then because I was wondering what you guys were going to say. Now, I have a question about that. At that time, Natiri was so adamant about that he needed help and she came from a loving place and she loved him. Did you have any inclination that she was going to go back?
Yes, because you know what? The one thing that she enjoyed was the sex, and that's what she always talked about. She ain't never had sex like that, and that's the one thing that I could say that he did to all those girls was he fucking them like a grown man. They all like 20. They ain't never really had no sexual experience. This is a man that came from the porn industry, so you
Wow.
automatically know where his mind is at when it comes to So he's taking these little girls there, you know what I'm saying, with no restrictions, no nothing. So that's why they all. I don't know, man, but I know he fucking with their psychology when he taking playing with their sexuality. He he doing he manipulating them to do all these things. He telling them about how the anal is the fruit to God or whatever the fuck he be telling them.
Right.
He do all this anal sex with them and shit like that shit. Wow.
Right.
I ain't
So,
never had to do
do
none of
you
that.
believe? Do you believe he has a sex demon?
For sure. I believe the porn
Okay.
industry dogged him out and he out here dogging out everything at this point, just like the way he got dogged out. They just slut walked him and he
Thank
slut walking
you.
everything he can.
Wow. Wow.
That's the vibe I got
Okay.
from him. I'm like, bro, he doing the same way he did him.
Wow. 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 Okay, Boomie. So once you and your wife left, you guys began to heal. How? What were the things that you did to start healing?
Um, we had to be open and transparent about like how we felt like we didn't feel supported in certain ways on both ends. You
Okay.
know, we had to like really like truly evaluate um how at certain times I could be inconsiderate of her emotions about
Okay.
certain things. Um, I feel like no, I don't want to speak for her, but if I had to, did you want to say anything? If I had to imagine, I feel like it's a certain like trust in me that I feel like she learned to grow more in tune with as far as um like trusting my ideas and
Mm.
when I'm coming up with constructive ideas on how to make our situation more comfortable and suitable for ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So we kind of have to sometimes I can be more like super blunt and straight to the point
Mhm.
when I feel like I gotta get something done to make the situation better. She's
Mhm.
more emotional, and I gotta make sure that
Thank
my
you.
application on how we're approaching things are, you know what I'm saying, like in a balanced fashion. So,
Okay.
so what we start realizing is, in certain ways, we were being inconsiderate to each other,
Yeah.
and being able to listen and hear each other out.
Mhm.
Because I feel like we both realize how stubborn we can both get individually.
Yeah. Yeah. I can. Okay, Shaka. So once you and Azeen and Star made the video, Star stayed with you for a little while, correct?
She did.
In
She
the Terry, I'm
she
sorry.
did. Maybe 2 3 months.
Mhm. And
She been
mentally, how was she mentally? How
like
was Star mentally?
Star was all over the place. At first got there, she was cool. You know, she had a great. I gave her space. All I do was get
Mhm.
she wanted first.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Oh, I said at first she wanted to be my wife. You know what I'm saying? When she first came there, she didn't want to be. I'm sorry. When she first came, she didn't want to be my wife. It was just her to come there to heal, and I was with that. I was for that. Like, yeah, this is a
Mhm.
free space for
Mhm.
you to come here. You got to worry about nothing. Just
Mm.
do whatever is necessary. You know what I'm saying? We food. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Had the right nutrients in their diet, making sure they're healing themselves, making sure she gets whatever medical assistance she needed, whatever she needed, we helped her with. You know what I'm saying? Financially, we
Right.
helped her go see her kids, got her flights to go see her kids. You know what I'm saying? We were just there for her in a time of need. And so she stayed as long as she needed to. But then me and her got into it. You know what I'm saying? Her masculine energy was too much for me, and she had to go.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so she left. Okay. Have you talked
yeah,
to
because
Star
really,
since she
some
left?
people asking me, like, why am I not him? And I'm like, bro, look, I'm gonna only be me. I can't be him. If that's what you're looking for, you in the
I
wrong place.
understand. I
Like I'm here.
understand.
And I'm here.
Muting
Like
and unmuting real quick.
say that again.
Can you can you try muting yours and unmuting it real quick, quick? Mute it on your end because we're having an echo. I'm just trying to see if the cache is built up too much and is lagging. So I wanted to see if you mute yours and then unmute it. Will
Me?
it clear?
All
You
right,
want me
can
to
you hear me
mute?
now?
I want
I
everybody to
can
mute
hear it.
everybody to mute and then unmute it
Oh,
real
I can
quick.
hear
yeah.
I can hear everybody.
It's not that it's echoing for me. Do you guys hear the echo?
You need to turn down the other device. If you
I don't
have
have
two
it up.
devices, okay. I don't hear an echo.
I've been muted.
Yeah, I muted mine too. Okay, I was trying to see if it was because I can hear the echo on mine. I don't know why. Okay,
Y'all says
no
it's echoing. I don't hear an echo on my end. I have on earphones. Oh, everybody says it's echoing.
worries.
I don't hear it.
Y'all keep saying in the comments it's me, but I've been muted though this whole time. Y'all keep saying it.
No, they said it was the host.
Saying the Shaka. Well, like right now I'm speaking. There's no echo, so it must be
Okay, well,
Shaka.
I'm unmuted. Can you guys still hear the mute? The
No, we're still clean. Oh, now I hear it. So okay, they wanted to derail it.
Can you hear me? You guys can hear me?
yes, I can hear you, and it sounds good. Okay.
Okay, cool. I went to the headphones and see if that was working.
Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I think we good now. I think it might have been me, yeah.
All right. Okay. So, Shaka, you said Star left, and mentally, you said she was all over the place and she left. Okay. And so, what have you and Azeen been doing to heal?
I mean, we didn't really have much to do. Like, I think our communication was great at the time while we were there and after we left. I think we always had great communication. That's why we've been together. What, this is our 6th year together now? So I think we just always had that connection, and we kept that connection while we were there. Even though we were separated a lot there, we always was like each other in on what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing is communication with your spouse. You got to have communication. You got to be solid, and y'all got to trust each other in every situation, no matter what. Even if y'all not together in the same room or in the same house, y'all know how to communicate. Even just with eye contact. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I would communicate how I feel right to her in the other side of the room. So I think we just stayed connected and stayed in tune with what we did best, and we just been doing that.
Okay.
It's just a pure love energy that we got for each other, and we trust each other. So I think we had to
Okay.
do much but just stay together.
Absolutely, I agree. Okay, so now I do have a question for you and Boomie. What would you suggest to a young girl, a young man who's looking for spirituality, and what would you suggest for them? You know how to find their spirituality, and what would be the red flags that you would tell them to stay away from so they don't end up in the same situation that you and Boomie ended up in?
Mm. Those finding spirituality, I think you need to go within yourself. I think everybody trying to go outside of themselves, and when you do that, you find other shit. And when you go in yourself, you get everything that's of you. And the only thing that's gonna come back is what you give to yourself. You gotta love yourself 100%, and you gotta love yourself and your choices at this point. I think waking up and finding your purpose. You got to have a mission, set a mission. When you find a relationship with somebody, y'all got to have a common mission in order for y'all to stay together. So even as an individual, you have to have your own common mission so that when you find that one person or you find that group that you want to attach yourself, you still have that special thing about you that makes you you, and that's what you add to the group, or you add to your family, or you add to your friends, or you add to whatever it is your special. So you need to tap into you and get your special and pull that out, and don't let nothing stop you or nothing cover that up. A lot of people got a lot of shit on top of their special, and they don't know how to remove that to get back to the original being. So remove shit, stop adding all the shit, remove shit, and get back to the original you. And you're gonna be the best, you're gonna find the best person you can ever find is yourself. And you're gonna be able to love your skin and love everything about yourself at any time, no matter what nobody think. You don't give a fuck because you got a relationship with yourself that can't nobody come between because they wasn't there to build it.
Facts, facts. Okay, Boomie. Well,
And that
go ahead.
another thing I wanted to add to that is, sometimes you do need, someone to help guide you, or someone to share some wisdom on you to help, direct you. But even when you seek out for that, you reciprocity in mind. You have to keep balance in
Yes,
mind.
yes.
Nobody that has additional wisdom to offer to you is going to make you feel less of yourself to help build you up. So you gotta make sure that even when you're looking for other wisdom outside yourself to help you, to guide you, at no one point, even if you're totally ignorant to what you're trying to figure out, will someone wiser to you with your best interest at heart gonna put you in a position where you gotta degrade yourself. You gotta, you know what I'm saying, to build yourself up. So I would encourage them to beware of that. Never get so um never put somebody else so high up on the pedestal that you forget that you deserve respect first, regardless to what level you at.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I want each of you to give me 5 red flags that you can come up with to where these 5 things, if you told anybody, say be aware of these 5 red flags so you do not become a victim of a cult. What are 5 red flags that a cult possesses?
That's so hard because everything we do is cult like. You know what I'm saying? Like we create cult like. Even with my cooking, like I want to create a cult like following. So it's like hard to say like 5 red flags on what a cult is because you got to. I think the things that I would watch for is don't fuck with people that don't fuck with you. Don't fuck with people that don't think like you. I think that once we start to get in that mindset, then we will eliminate a lot of issues in our lives. Because if nobody is supporting you, then why would you deal with somebody that doesn't want to see you win? Put yourself and surround yourself around people who want to see you win, and you're gonna always find yourself in the best for you. Make the best choices for you at all times. Be present in your choices. Be present in your day to day to understand with intentions your choices and the things that you have to face, and make the best. You may not have that many choices in your day, but make the best choices out of those choices. And I think that's what's going to put you ahead of everything because the United States is a cult. Like, to follow anything that you do in the United States would be like saying, we don't need to do none of that shit. So at the end of the day, just like they said, know your worth and and your value and everything, and you're going to be the best everywhere you go.
Okay.
Okay. What would be 5 red
I want to
flags
give
that a cult possesses?
some clarity on what you were just talking about. Then your question specifically, guys, if he's talking about red flags, you need to find a cult for you. Cult is an organization that goes in and takes away your will and your ability to function on your own without conforming to their request. So that's what the cult is specifically, not in your sense you're talking about as a group or a gathering or a commune. It sounds similar, but they're different because a commune you have your own choices. He's specifically asking about 5 red flags for a cult. I'm gonna give you some examples of what those kind of red flags are. Mission of will without compensation for it, youth mentality that is not rewarded by accolades but is being forced, people wanting you to come in, give away your assets without giving you any
Daniel, you're
say in
going
it.
in and out, my love. You're going in and out.
Y'all hear me now? Is that better?
Yes, much better. Go ahead. Repeat what you just said.
Examples of what a cult red flag would be. So to be very clear and specific, what you're talking about is you say you like a cult like atmosphere for your stuff. It's not a cult like. So the cult would mean that you would be something that you were taking away people's will. You're all
Right, right,
about
right, right, right.
thing us build together. So to make sure that your words are being held clearly, you're not about that. The cult is going to be in a negative sense. Yes, the United States does have a group mentality. The cult would speak on that. So there's
Correct, correct.
definitely, there's definitely some shit about that. But yeah, I want to make sure you got this clear. Those are the red flags he's talking about. Like when you got in there, you see this happening. It's like, whoa, why are they doing this specific thing? That kind of information would really help out a lot of people because like you were mesmerized by it, but now you have to ask yourself, well, damn, why? What did I
Okay,
see? Someone else. Cool.
I got a few. So one, um, if the leader or so-called leadership is encouraging you to believe in them more than believing in yourself, automatic red flag. Did y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Um, if if the organization is forcing you to do things against your will, it's trying to make you feel like at every time you feel like an opposing vibe, they're trying to play mind games with you like you're tripping or you off. red flag. If they're like, you just mentioned one that I'm a recycle and throw in the mix because it was a good one.
Go with
If
it.
a motherfucker like, you got to put all your motherfucking money and resources and shit in the motherfucking bag, and you don't got no flexibility to have your own, do your own thing. Because I'm all about cooperative economics and us pooling resources, because that's what me and Shaka are doing right now with his restaurant. You know, we're cooperatively collaborating. You know, if something is telling you like you got to put everything in blindly and not have no flexibility on your own, red flag. If there's a tone of sexual favors being automatic upon being a part of the collective, automatic red flag. If someone is presenting an idea of accepting you as a lover into their reality, like putting you in position like a queen and this, that, and so forth, and y'all haven't even taken the time to meet each other, feel each other out, know each other really in real time, real life, red flag. Because at that point, they're looking to take advantage of your insecurities, of them being able to manipulate you from a distance. Because they already, anybody in their right mind should know that if we're encouraging the idea of you being my mate or my partner, we got to know each other in real life to even weigh out if that's even possible.
Mhm.
And another one that I would throw out there is if someone is making it a rule for you to not be able to be in contact with your family, regardless to how toxic that family is, it has been. Because I'll be honest with you, we all deal with a lot of different, I ain't gonna say we all, but a lot of us deal with a lot of different toxic things within our family structure. But that's not to say that we should try to find a group of people to isolate ourselves from having to deal with our own bloodline and the issues that we got going on in our own family, in our own bloodlines, because that's how you really heal generational curses. Like the issues that we grew up through aren't going anywhere if I just be like, fuck all of my brothers and sisters and shit like that. And you know what I mean? So that's a big red flag. You don't want no
Yeah.
one to encourage you outside of your family to isolate you from your family.
Right. Damn right.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Thank you so much for that.
Good
I
job, Bomie.
appreciate that. Okay, I have one question though. One little thing I left out. Shaka. And Azeen, please do not beat me over the head for this question, but I gotta ask because you know I'm poly too. What made you go ahead and decide to have a threesome with Velvet?
It's a
It,
threesome. Shit.
No, Daniel, I'm not asking you. Keep your male
okay,
self
okay. All
quiet.
right, so it wasn't really like it just kind of happened. It was one of those things that like it wasn't like talked about. It was
I
just
want to know.
like I was trying to avoid it. I'm
Explain.
gonna just say this. I did everything I
No,
could to
no, no.
avoid it.
So what happened? Were we having drinks? Were we having drinks and trying to get the
We
feeling
was
good?
we didn't have no alcohol was involved, but we did smoke weed. We were smoking
Oh,
weed. We happened to
taking
be
a
in
little
New
toke.
Orleans, and then she hit us up when we was in New Orleans. She like, hey, I heard y'all in New Orleans. Like, hey, y'all want to hang out? Cool, bet. So we all was hanging out. We had dinner, we had lunch and
Mhm.
stuff. We had dinner or whatever.
Oh,
Then we went to the back
oh
to the
shit.
Airbnb. Her and Azeen vibe, you know what I'm saying? They kicking it. I'm just extra at this point the whole time. I'm staying keeping
They
my distance
vibing
because
like
I'm still
what?
looking.
What kind of vibing? Because I like women too. So
You know,
how were
they
they
just
vibing?
connected like on women. They just connecting like talking about what happened. And the situation because Velvet had just left too, so we had left. We had been out for a minute. Velvet had just left, so we was catching up on all the details of what they was talking about. I just kind of like I said, I stayed my distance.
Mhm.
And, that night, Azeen and Velvet text me like, we got something to talk about. And I'm like, why Daniel calm down on me?
Nigga,
And
I
I'm
want
like,
so badly, but she gonna roast me in my
Daniel,
face. Like,
no,
Daniel, be
wait, let me
quiet.
finish though. Let me finish though. Let me
I'm
finish.
gonna mute you,
So her and
Daniel.
Azeen text me. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I made a pallet, mind you, I made a pallet on the other side of the room. I let the
Oh,
ladies and the children sleep in the bed. I made a pallet on the side of the room, like, hey, look, I don't want no, I'm cool, I don't want no part of nothing. I'm minding my business, I'm chilling. Velvet's like, hey, I Azeen was it okay to come give you a hug? So she came over
wait.
to my pallet
Can you
on the
repeat
other
that?
side of the
Can
room.
you
Was like,
repeat that?
at 2 o'clock in the morning, like, I want to give you a hug.
Wait.
I said,
Can we go
Velvet
back?
asked Azeen at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
2
Go
a.m.
ahead. Yeah, 2 a.m. They text me like, we got something to talk about, and then Velvet like, I want to come give you a hug. Azeen said I could come give you a hug, so she came and gave me a hug. And in the midst of the hug, we were talking or whatever, and she's like, nigga, I'm trying to be a part of y'all. You know what I'm saying? She asking me like, was
Oh,
I feeling her when I was there? And I was really like, no, I really wasn't. And she was kind of like, no, you wasn't. I was like, no. She was like, the whole time she would tell like everything that. This is when I found out everything that she was projecting. Cause a lot of times in the house, I was getting uh, accused of wanting to be with her. And when it was really
oh,
her shooting her energy at me, the whole time I'd be minding my business and she shoot her shot, and then Nature Boy would peeping, and then we have a meeting, you know what I'm saying? Whole lot of fucking meetings about me and all the women, thinking that I want to be with all the women, you know what I'm saying? He used to make me walk around. I mean, I couldn't walk around with no tank tops on, no. I had to be like dressed a certain type of way, big shirts and shit,
oh
because he
shit.
felt like my energy was too big for the women. So
Okay.
when me and Velvet got together, that she was telling me like how she really felt, and so I was like, damn, that whole time you was really the one pushing all the energy over here, and I ain't never pushed no energy at you. And so I let her know that, and I was like, nigga, I respect you too much. I'm not with this. I don't really want to have sex. So I didn't really have sex with her. So we ended up getting in the shower. We all took a shower together. Her and my wife got
At
intimate
two
with her,
o'clock in the
and then
morning.
we all ended up getting intimate. Like we didn't have sex though, but we all ended up giving like oral sex to each other and shit like that. And then we just went about our day. Like the next day, we just acted like nothing ever happened, and then we just, you know, it is what it is after that.
Was it good?
Man, I'm gonna tell you,
Just
Velvet was
asking.
sexier than a motherfucker.
All right. We here for honesty. We here for honesty. Okay.
I'll, I'll,
It is
I'll
what
be
it
all
is.
the way 1,000.
Inquiring minds
The
wanted to
chiefess,
know.
the chiefess was right.
Right. She did her shit. Okay.
But I mean, it was cool. A lot of
Yeah.
people made it into a into this big spectacle, and then she ended up being pregnant after that time. And they was all like, "Oh no, you was the one," and I
Use the
let people
pappy.
run with whatever they want to run with. You know what I'm saying? I let them
Let
run
them
with it
run with
how
their
they want to.
narrative.
I had already told them I
Okay.
didn't do nothing with it, but since the internet want to run crazy with it, I let them run wild. Then
Okay.
I
All
started
right.
feeding
Well,
into the
okay.
bullshit.
I feel you. I feel you on
But
that
me
one.
and Velvet
But
knew
you
though. Me and Velvet knew what was the deal.
and you and Velvet are cool right now, I assume, right?
I ain't talked to Velvet in a while. I hadn't talked to her in a while, to be real. All the Bigo, it's too much. It's too many
Yes, he
people
does.
in between, like all the Bigo and everything, and it's just a
Too
lot of
much.
drama. So it's better to just fall back and just wait till the storm clears.
Yes. Okay, I feel you. I feel you on that one. Okay, okay. Well, are you guys ready for Q&A? I'm gonna let people up in box five. And oh, go ahead, Boomie. Do you have anything you want to say, my love?
No, I was just basically saying you're ready for Q&A and drop a shoot on me.
Okay. All right. Well, Boomie wants you guys to let him up before he answer any question. So,
I am an official
okay.
Bigo host, by the way.
He is an
Shameless
official host.
plug.
Yes, he is.
My nigga's official Bigo host.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Okay, Boomy. So